tracks open. Next week on Inside the PGA Tour. Chris DeMarco discovered that he needed more than just himself to endure the Nike Tour.
Good luck, Chris.
Last year, for 12 weeks in Canada, we drove about, what, 35,000? 35,000.
Plus, a recap of the New England Classic.
Well, mates, it's been a real treat hosting this week's British Open recap show. Next week, I think Bruce Fleischer's your host, the same guy that holed that lucky putt to beat me 2 years ago in New England.
Hey, Ian, luck had nothing to do with it.
You know, Bruce is a good Australian name. Good luck up there, mate.
Inside the PGA Tour can be seen 3 times next week, including 11 p.m. Thursday on the West Coast. Check local listings for the correct times in your area. Inside the PGA Tour is brought to you by Hilton Hotels. So nice to come home to. By the Ben Hogan Company. Hogan, improving your game for more than 40 years. And by Buick, the official car of the PGA Tour. And by your Buick dealer. Inside the PGA Tour is produced by PGA Tour Productions.
The ultimate goal in motor racing is speed. And nowhere on the Formula One World Driving Championship are speeds faster than Hockenheim. But high speed carries a high price, paid for in a driver's most precious commodity, time. At Hockenheim, the smallest misstep can cost you a place on the starting grid or a spot on the winner's podium. It can steal a driver's confidence in a headlong rush at the barrier. To be out of control at Hockenheim is truly to flirt with disaster and sometimes to embrace it. The reigning king of the Hockenheimring is Brazilian Ayrton Senna with 3 straight victories in the late 80s. In 1991, Senna got the better of Alain Prost, edging the Frenchman's Ferrari off the racetrack. Last year, Senna suffered the humiliation of having to wave Nigel Mansell past, acknowledging the superiority of the Williams Renault. Today, Prost returns to Hockenheim with 6 wins in 9 races and the all-conquering Williams. 2 weeks ago, Senna ran out of gas at the British Grand Prix, while title rival Prost scaled the podium with his milestone 50th Grand Prix win. But Prost and the Williams team are facing a crisis. Their hard-earned technical advantage is on the rules maker's chopping block. The most formidable weapon in Grand Prix racing history may be pushed into the garage today for the last time at the Grand Prix of Germany. ESPN, the world leader in motorsports coverage, presents Speed World. Nestled appropriately enough alongside one of Germany's legendary high-speed autobahns, the Hockenheimring is the site of round 10 in the Formula One World Driving Championship, the Grand Prix of Germany. The second half of the Formula One season is dominated by the Fast 4 racetracks, Silverstone in England, Spa in Belgium, Monza in Italy, and here in Hockenheim, in the heart of the German Rhineland, the Hockenheimring. Hello again, everyone. I'm Bob Varsha. When the Formula One season began in South Africa back in March, I told you the series was going through a bit of an identity crisis. Well, all that may have changed this weekend. A little over a week ago, the FISA, the worldwide sanctioning body, declared that costs and technology were getting out of control and ruining the show, and that Formula One had better get its act together or face the immediate banning of computer-modulated active suspension and traction control. On Thursday, Formula One went the sanctioning body one better. The team owners agreed unanimously to a comprehensive set of new rules governing engines, pit stops, and electronics to take effect in the beginning of next year in exchange for rule stability and running the cars in their present configuration through the end of the year. With more on that story now, let's go to our ESPN Formula One analyst, Derek Daly, standing by across in the pit lane in the garage of the team he drove for a little over a decade ago. Derek?
Well, Bob, I'm sitting right at the heart of some of the controversy, the Williams FW15. This is technically the most advanced racing car ever built in the history of the sport. It enjoys traction control, fly-by-wire throttle, ABS braking, automatic gearbox, and of course the active suspension. Now in Canada, Frank Williams and every other team manager that runs an actively suspended car were told this car is illegal and may be banned in Hungary. Well, sanity prevailed during a 6-hour meeting right here in Germany. The team managers got together and put an alternate proposal to FISA that they hope they will accept. They were very happy after the meeting.
For the first time in a long time, all the team was together, and I believe this is a fantastic situation for us. Was decided unanimous agreement, finish the season like it's now, and for 94 is some change, containment of the cost and more entertainment. I believe this is what the people want, the sponsor, the public want.
It was essential that the teams finally agreed amongst themselves on a way ahead, and this happened yesterday. And that actually was a greater thing than the content of the agreement, which was to continue with the cars as they are until the end of the year.
In any business, there's always got losers and winners, and I think at the end of the day, some teams will say, well, they gave in more than perhaps they should have, and I would rather see it on a slightly different level, and hopefully that most people can see that too, and bring it to a higher level, because I think the winners at the end of the day, and certainly in the longer term, will be Grand Prix racing. Because one thing that needed to be achieved was stability, and that for sure was the major single item that was achieved yesterday.
I don't think Formula One was damaged as far as the public's concerned. I think it was, it was a pity that people that are together every weekend and sort of fighting and arguing about things which are really nothing in the end.
So for next year, many of these so-called driver aids will be gone, but make no mistake about it, Formula One cars will remain on the cutting edge of technology.
All right, thank you, Derek. Now we have other stories to tell you about, beginning with our crowd, the biggest of the year. More than 200,000 Germans have packed this racetrack to will on their hero to victory, the most successful Formula One driver ever from Germany, Michael Schumacher. We'll be seeing plenty of him today. Now, we had rain in the morning warm-up, and that produced one of the scariest moments in recent memory in Formula One. With more on that, let's get to our pit reporter for today's race. Here's James Allen.
Thank you, Bob. Hockenheim, yes, it is indeed a very fast race circuit, but just imagine if it's pouring with rain, you're driving into a ball of spray at 200 miles an hour down these long straightaways. Accidents can happen, and they happened this morning. Derek Warwick, you were involved in a terrible accident this morning. Take us through it.
Well, it was very wet, and as you say, the mist hangs in the trees, and I come out of the Ost curve behind Prost and Senna, and about halfway up the straight, you're doing maybe 320 kilometers an hour. And out of the mist came Badua, doing maybe 100 kilometers an hour, and I never even had time to swerve. I just ran straight out the back, took off the right side of the car. Then it flew a little bit, came down. Oh, I went against the Armco to try and take away the speed, and as I approached the chicane, I knew that I was still doing maybe 170 kilometers an hour. Once I hit the gravel, it just went all wrong. It went upside down, and the worst thing was the roll bar went into the gravel, and it jammed me in the car. My head was jammed in, and then you see all the water was dripping, and you don't know whether it's fuel, and it seemed to take ages before they tipped the car back up.
Sterling Moss once said, racing is like Russian roulette. You never know when the chamber will come up loaded. Derek Warwick is strapped in his race car, ready to run the risk again. Stay with us. This ESPN Speed World presentation is brought to you by Volvo. Volvo would like you to drive safely. By Toyo Tires. No matter what you drive, we've got you covered from H to Z. And by Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car.
Today's history lesson, the fork. No! I'm talking front fork! Look! Since day one, it's done two jobs, steering and suspension. You ever tried holding down two jobs? Now, cut to the new Yamaha GTS 1008, the Sultan of swing arms. One arm steers, one does suspension. No fork, no fuss. Yamaha doesn't just make motorcycles, they make history. End of lesson.
Back in Hockenheim. Hockenheim. There is Michael Andretti on the grid awaiting the green light, coming off a big disappointment 2 weeks ago. Here's Derek Daly with an update on Michael Andretti.
At Silverstone 2 weeks ago, Michael Andretti enjoyed his best start of the year, passing many cars on the run to Copse Corner before running out of room and visiting the gravel trap. However, his McLaren race engineer Steve Hallam still sees Michael's positives.
Michael's been a victim of his own aggressiveness, probably on more than one occasion. Silverstone's probably an example, but I don't think you can criticize a driver for trying to be ambitious and trying to be successful on the circuit. One thinks of a quote from Lofty England when he was running the Jaguar racing team. You know, I never shout at my drivers when they crash a car because I know they're trying.
Here in Germany, the clouds were still dark over Michael as he spun off, then ran wide, and in qualifying again he had to wrestle with the McLaren. The learning curve is steep, but Michael continues to grow through adversity.
My confidence level has been getting a little better every weekend, and but still, I'm not where I'd like to be. I mean, I'm miles away from where I was in an Indy car, for instance, and to get to that point, it just takes time.
To surface to an Ayrton Senna level, Michael needs to persevere.
He needs time. More than anything, he needs time. He has the team giving him all the support necessary. Whether he makes mistakes or gets it right makes no difference. The team gives him full support, everything that they can do for him, which is very important in his position. So it's a matter of time for him to really gradually exploit better his potential.
There is Michael Andretti, who gives much credit to Ayrton Senna for helping him achieve his potential in Formula One. Now let's review the entire starting lineup with the help of this week's Yamaha starting grid. On the pole for the 29th time with a lap at 154.380 miles an hour, Alain Prost of France in the Williams Renault. Next to him, his teammate from Great Britain, Damon Hill, just a tenth of a second back. Row 2, Michael Schumacher, the runaway favorite of this huge German crowd. Next to him from Brazil, the three-time world champion and three-time winner of this race, Ayrton Senna. Row 3 will be Mark Blundell of Great Britain in the Ligier Renault. Next to him, his teammate from Great Britain, Martin Brundle. Row 4 will be Riccardo Patrese launching his 250th Grand Prix start. At his elbow, Aguri Suzuki of Japan in the footwork Mugen Honda. On row 5, Gerhard Berger in the T-car. He crashed his Ferrari heavily yesterday. He will start the T-car today. Next to him, his Ferrari teammate from France, Jean Alesi. On row 6, Derek Warwick. After that huge crash in the warm-up in his footwork, will be in the T-car for the race. And next to him, American Michael Andretti, starting in the number 12 spot for McLaren. On row 7, Johnny Herbert of Great Britain in the Lotus and the Sauber of Carl Wendlinger. On row 8, Alessandro Zanardi driving with a broken foot next to the Rus Lamborghini of Eric Comas. Row 9 will be Rubens Barrichello, who just went through his first Formula One accident in the Jordan on Friday. Next to him, J.J. Leto in the Sauber. Row 10, Andre de Cesaris of the Tyrrell Yamaha next to the Minardi Ford of Christian Fittipaldi of Brazil. Row 11, Ukio Katayama of Japan in the Tyrrell next to the Minardi of Pierluigi Martini of Italy. On row 12, Philippe Ayot in the LaRousse Lamborghini next to Terry Boutsen of Belgium in the Jordan Hart. And on row 13, both Luca Badour in the Lola Ferrari and his teammate Michele Alboreto. All 26 cars that showed up will start this race. A look at our race conditions. A very warm 80-degree day. The rain clouds are long gone. We have a light breeze from the southwest, partly cloudy skies. It is humid, but very low chance of rain. A look at former winners of this race. Note Ayrton Senna with 3 victories. Nelson Piquet also had 3 here at Hockenheim. Nigel Mansell won the last 2. Derek Daly, your analysis of the track.
This is long, fast, and very bumpy. It's got a great combination of low and medium speed corners through the concrete stadium, and that's combined with the highest speeds of the year along the straights here at Hockenheim through the German forest. Good old slipstreaming is prevalent here at Hockenheim, and the braking zones to the chicane, you see one right here, allows a reasonably good chance of passing. The S-curve, one of the famous names, used to be a long 180-degree flat and fifth right-hander. Now it also has a chicane. You go to the infield, and the crowd goes absolutely berserk when Schumacher enters here. One of the key corners for a fast lap is turn 1, blasting out to the forest. If you get it wrong here, you can easily kiss the guardrail, as Martini and the Minardi did during practice.
We've had lots of cars off the racetrack. You see them coming to the grid. That's Alain Prost in the very number 1 position. Just above him, Damon Hill. Prost will be on the outside with a very sharp right-hander at the first corner, so he does have the advantage. Look at the crowd in the background. This is the stadium section, probably 80,000 or so seats, and everyone occupied by a German, hoping that Michael Schumacher will pick up his second Grand Prix victory today. The cars are in position. The man at the back has the green flag. Watch the lights and get ready for the Grand Prix start. 26 engines at 14,000 revs. Alain Prost on the right, very slow getting away. Michael Schumacher leaps out ahead of him. Ayrton Senna coming up the inside. Terrible start for Alain Prost.
It's hard to believe that Alain Prost has had such poor starts all this year. This is by far the worst. Look, he's embroiled in the back, but he's trying to pass Senna.
The entire field in qualifying at over 200 miles an hour, approaching this first chicane. The top cars 212 miles an hour. Oh, Prost and Senna touch. They are both off. Senna's back on. Prost is trying to control a spin. Senna has spun with help from Prost.
Well, 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 Senna would not give the line to Alain Prost, drops the clutch. He is last. He does a 180 degrees, but he wouldn't give up on Alain Prost. They touched wheels, and now look at the gap between first and second. Oh, Prost is still there. He is in all sorts of trouble.
Nigel Mansell went through that chicane just that way last year with no penalty. You saw one of the Ligiers has spun it well. It is chaos. Ayrton Senna will have to drive through this field. He'll be a man to watch. One of the LaRousses is crippled and pulling off. Looked like Eric Comas's car, I believe. Yes, it is Comas.
Comas involved in some way in the incident. Damon Hill is a clear leader, but look at the gap now. But Prost is still in this race, but he has to play catch-up. One of the Ligiers, we saw them in trouble earlier.
The vast majority of this crowd in the stadium section right here, and look at the flags wave as Michael Schumacher comes through in second place. They missed all the action out there in the chicanes. We're watching it on television, of course, with the help of the RTL German TV network. Look at this crowd going bonkers for Schumacher.
As a driver, you can't help but feel the electricity from the people as they will you on, and Schumacher has such an incredible following here at Hockenheim.
This crowd got a huge scare before the race began. Michael Schumacher could not get his race car started. There is Michael Andretti in the middle of the field. Schumacher is in the T car, but it appears to be working well. Here comes Ayrton Senna, dead last in a Grand Prix. Look at this restart. Alain Prost at the bottom of your picture. Terrible start. Riccardo Patrese rocketing up at the lower part of your screen, and watch him scramble into one.
And watch Senna get down the inside of Prost. Bang, there's the move. He takes the inside line. Now he has a head of steam ahead of Alain Prost, and that set up the incident down at that first chicane.
There's Michael Schumacher. Look at him trailing Damon Hill by a great distance. Heavy braking right here and very bumpy. The cars bouncing over it like a washboard. Here comes Alain Prost making up time quickly. Then it looks like Martin Brundle and Marc Blundell in the two blue and white Ligiers. Then Riccardo Patrese, and then the Ferraris, Alesi and Berger. Michael Andretti has gone from 12th to 9th in one lap.
Well, Michael is the one that wants to steer clear of all these possible first-lap accidents. We're inside with Prost. Now, he has to hope that this car is not damaged in any way. Remember, the World Championship is what we're chasing here.
The stadium lies ahead.
It lies ahead. You come through the forest, and right here, all through practice and qualifying, the German crowd sent off flares into the air every time Schumacher appeared. Flares would shoot up, and the crowd just went berserk every time he appeared, particularly in qualifying.
Now let's go back to that incident in the chicane, Derek, where Alain Prost and Ayrton Senna nearly took each other out of this race.
The key is here, and you'll see it begin to develop. Now look at Senna, he's on the outside. Prost has the line, and Senna doesn't give up. He doesn't give up. The two cars touch. Senna jumps into the air. And that was it. He hits the curve, and look at this. He spins, almost collects one of the Ligiers, and happily, Martin Brundle did miss him, and the rest of the field go around the outside. But he wouldn't give up that piece of space or that piece of ground that Prost wanted, and he paid the penalty.
And you had to wonder at that point if he had the engine working. Let's now sit on with Alain Prost in that corner. You see, he locked up the right rear. Senna is out of the picture to the rear.
Oh, look at what happened to Prost. We didn't see that from the long lens camera. Prost actually had to take serious avoiding action, drive right over the top of that curve, across the grass and back onto the racetrack. And remember then at chicane number 2, he also went across there. But Senna now has a lot of work to do. He's up behind Barrichello and the Jordan.
And he has already passed 4 cars, plus Eric Comas's LaRousse is out of the race. So Ayrton Senna has gone from 26th to 21st in just a couple of laps.
Yeah, obviously it's Boutsen in the Jordan. He pulls down the inside under braking. He is in attack mode, but when you're at the back, it takes a long time to get past this traffic jam. But look at this. This is great stuff to watch here. Oh, look at this. Alio making it difficult.
We have 45 racing laps to run, and they are going to be dramatic. We've gotten off to a great start. You're not going to want to miss live coverage of the Grand Prix of Germany. We'll be back to a packed Hockenheimring in just a moment.
Driving a Volvo usually inspires a certain sense of safety. Well, now we offer an additional sensation. The Volvo 850 GLT. If this is how you think of Volvos, we may have the car to change your thinking. The Volvo 850 GLT.
No matter what you drive, we've got you covered from H to Z.
I was right behind him when he started to spin.
I know the feeling, nowhere to go, right?
2 champions sharing a winning formula. Haviland, Formula 3.
Very unpleasant on an oval, I'd think.
Some people just can't get it right.
Even at Indy?
Oh, especially at Indy.
Complete professionals who rely on the same complete protection you can buy right off the shelf. Haviland Formula 3 motor oil from Texaco.
Perhaps I should follow you then.
Not a bad idea, Nigel.
Back live at the Hockenheimring, riding along with 3-time world champion Ayrton Senna. There is the intervals behind the leader, Damon Hill, who took the lead at the first corner and rushed away. Ayrton Senna spun himself to the back of the pack. He presently runs in 18th place, and Andrea De Cesaris in the brand new Tyrrell Yamaha has dropped out. So he joins Eric Comas on the sidelines. We have a very dramatic first 3 laps. We are finishing up lap 4 right now. There is Ruben Barrichello, the Brazilian, coming under fire from countryman Ayrton Senna. While this battle rages, let's get down to the pit lane. James Allen has more on the Benetton team.
Well, Bob, what a sensational start to the race. And yes, there's a twist too for Michael Schumacher. He's had to start in the spare car because his race car had active suspension failure just moments before he was due to go out on the grid. So obviously a major setback for the hometown boy. He's done very little running in that T-car all weekend.
The measure of a professional team usually is seen when the driver jumps into the spare car and it runs just as well as his race car. Benetton are usually at the height of the professional level. I would think that car hopefully is running just as well as his race car. But look at Prost, slides up behind him, particularly under braking, where the Williams car had a lot of trouble all this weekend under braking for those slow chicanes.
The car is very heavy with fuel. You use a lot of fuel at Hockenheim with the slow chicanes followed by the high-speed sections.
Look at
As a result, everyone using extra fuel. Now here is Alain Prost closing up on the gearbox of Schumacher.
And you see, Bob, what Schumacher did there before they got to the braking zone. Moved to the middle of the road to make things difficult for Alain Prost. He knows that Renault V10 has more power. Look at him draw up behind him, draws up behind him. But boom, they're in the braking zone and he can't make a challenge. Now, one of the big advantages of active ride suspension is under heavy fuel load, it maintains the ideal ride heights of these cars. And as it gets lighter, it begins to lower the car back to that ideal ride height. The first 3 cars, Michael's off.
Oh, Michael Andretti went from 12th to 9th, and you see him pulling off onto the escape road. What could have happened now? There's Eric Comas' stranded Ligier. and Michael Andretti has dropped out again.
Well, he did 4 laps. That was all it lasted. You can't see, obviously, what happened or what broke, but it looked like a failure of something that made him roll to a halt. Look at Prost here, and Schumacher. This could get interesting.
He's going to try him on the outside at 200 miles an hour. Oh, and a piece of debris. Was that off a car or just picked up off the racetrack? I couldn't tell.
In practice, we monitored Schumacher. He did 214 miles an hour in qualifying down that piece of road there into that first chicane. Formula One cars have never reached that type of top terminal speed before. But remember, this year, the tires are 15% smaller, or 15% less drag, because they are smaller than last year. And of course, the tires on the race car produce the most drag. Look how far he is ahead of Schumacher within the length of one straight in a chicane.
Let's take another look at that pass from Alain Prost on board cameras.
Here's how you enjoy about 80 horsepower or more. You get into the slipstream, and there's Schumacher in the middle of the road, making it difficult for Prost. So Prost decides, I'm going to go around the outside, which is more difficult. But look how long he has. That's Damon Hill up ahead of him. You see the sparks fly out. But Alain Prost, now look what he does. Moves back to the middle of the road, so as Schumacher doesn't even think of trying to outbrake him and come down the inside.
Le Professeur. After a shaky start here, almost spinning himself out of the race with Ayrton Senna, Alain Prost looking for that 51st Grand Prix victory and hoping to expand his 20-point lead over Senna for the World Championship. There's the gap, first to second. The two Williams Renaults pulling away again. Then Schumacher a little bit squirrely going into that first corner. Now here come the Brundle brothers, as they call themselves. First Martin Brundle in the Ligier Renault, followed by fellow Englishman Mark Blundell.
They've been good here in practice and qualifying. Remember the Renault V10 engine, so this car is a passive car, does not enjoy active suspension in any way, shape, or form. Now, we mentioned earlier about how the ride heights get compensated. Well, this car, they have to raise the ride heights to compensate for 40 gallons of fuel. So what happens when they use all that fuel? Well, the car rides higher than it ever likes to be, doesn't have as much downforce, and it becomes a handful for the drivers. That's one of the big advantages of this active suspension that these two Ligers do not have.
Now here is a replay from German television of a couple of cars going off the racetrack. We'd not seen this before. That looks like
Don't tell me it's Warwick.
Is it both footworks?
I think that was both footwork cars arguing over the same piece of ground. So incredibly, Derek Warwick gets himself into another schmozzle, but this time is with his teammate. What a frightening crash we saw earlier, that you, in fact, saw earlier in the show that happened to Warwick.
The two teammates get along very well. In fact, one of the first cars to stop when Derek Warwick had his accident this morning was his teammate, Aguri Suzuki, along with both Ferrari drivers, Jean Alesi and Gerhard Berger.
Look at
just
this.
ahead, Damon Hill.
Look at this in the stadium.
Squirrely.
Damon Hill has not been happy with the handling of this car either. And look how quickly Alain Prost catches him. Now you can see a low downforce setting makes these cars slip and slide through the infield section, and Damon Hill is in trouble. That car is not handling well. I will be surprised to see Alain Prost stay there very long. This is the chute, the blast out of the stadium down to the long run to the first chicane. Here we go. We're going to stay inside. No, we're not going to stay inside. We're back outside. Now he's in the slipstream. That's the sparks from Damon Hill. Here we go, the drag race.
And Alain Prost with a clean pass for the lead. So Prost retakes the lead, or takes the lead for the first time, I should say. It has been Damon Hill since another great Hill Grand Prix start.
Watch that rear suspension. You think the suspension doesn't move very much? It does.
We'll be back to take a look at it in just a moment. Stand by for more live from Germany.
So, your international calling plan makes you choose a favorite country. But what happens if you add other countries or other people? Introducing the most worldwide from Sprint, the only calling plan that guarantees you savings on the 2 international numbers you call the most each month, even if they change. Once more from the top, boys.
Now get $50 free long distance with the most worldwide, only from Sprint.
Driving a Volvo usually inspires a certain sense of safety. Well, now we offer an additional sensation. The Volvo 850 GLT. leading automotive writer on the Volvo 850 GLT. Beneath its business suit is a rocker.
The sacks are back. The bombs are back. The blitz is back. The NFL is back on ESPN. The Eagles face the Saints in the American Bowl, live from Tokyo. They're big, they're green, and they're invading Tokyo. No, it's not Godzilla. It's the Philadelphia Eagles as they butt heads with the hard-hitting New Orleans Saints. Saturday night at 10 Eastern, live on ESPN.
In the Neckar Valley stands the town of Heidelberg, about 10 kilometers from the racetrack at Hockenheim. Heidelberg is said to encapsulate the spirit of Germany. Scores of poets, writers, and composers have sung its praises, including Goethe and our own Mark Twain. Among other things, it houses the oldest university in Germany and the ruins of a Gothic castle that are taken right out of a romance novel. Heidelberg, Germany, not far from the Hockenheimring, where we're undergoing the Grand Prix of Germany, working lap number 9. And now there could be extra drama as you look from Damon Hill's car ahead to race leader Alain Prost. Our pit reporter James Allen has been following the story. James?
Yes, Bob, more drama. Car number 2, they've put a stop-and-go penalty signal out for him. It's Alain Prost, the race leader, and you can see the team now about to tell him the terrible news. He's just taken the lead of the race, and they're going to give him a stop-and-go penalty. At the moment, as far as I can understand, it's for cutting through a chicane. I also understand that Martin Brundle is involved in the incident. Obviously, we'll try and get more for you.
All right, thanks, James. Let's take another look at that incident right now. We all saw that Alain Prost was one of the cars to miss the chicane. Watch, he'll come in and just overcook it, just coming in from the left.
And remember, this is lap 1. He's just hit Senna. Oh, I think he hit Brundle also. He hit Senna at the first chicane, then he hit Brundle, and he was forced wide. 3 cars, you can clearly see, Suzuki also involved in that, missed that chicane, and unfortunately, they are going to be brought in for a black flag.
It is now official. It will be Prost, Brundle, and Suzuki all brought in. Recall that last year in battle with Ayrton Senna, Nigel Mansell also missed that chicane, but he gained no competitive advantage, said the officials, and they did not penalize him. Now here's Ayrton Senna bombing along in 10th place. Remember, he went to the back of the grid. Now here comes Suzuki in for his stop.
Absolute frustration for a driver. Not so much for Suzuki because, remember, he's not in the lead pack. His mechanics are there. Oh, look, they stop him for 10 seconds. They actually count a 10-second period. So Damon Hill is going to have a huge lead here. And remember who's behind him, Schumacher. This crowd is absolutely going to go berserk again when this happens to Prost.
Aguri Suzuki was stopped for a total of 22 seconds. So that gives you some idea of what Damon Hill and Michael Schumacher are going to have to work with when Alain Prost and the number 2 car heads to the pits. And look at the gap from the top 3 back to the Ligiers.
Remember Monaco. Well, you don't remember Monaco, but I remember Monaco. We didn't see it. I didn't remember that bit. But Alain Prost had a stop-and-go penalty, and he stalled the Williams 2 times in the pit lane, lost an enormous amount of time.
Someday, hopefully, we'll all be able to remember Monaco here on ESPN.
Here he goes.
Here comes the race leader, Alain Prost. He will go all the way to the end of the pit lane. Let's see how long it takes him. Rocketing down the pit lane. Gosh, that has to be over 100 miles an hour.
Remember, they never use the clutch when they get off the line, except for situations like this. You got to hold it in gear, and these automatic transmissions have a habit of dragging the clutch. Look at this. They tell him, keep the revs up, keep the revs up. And he gets it away.
And the time on his stop, 18 seconds total, 8.6 seconds in the stationary position there. No matter what happens, the lead goes back to Damon Hill. Now Prost is back out just ahead of the Ferraris, so that will put him in 7th place in the race behind Riccardo Patrese.
And 7th place on the last lap was 15 seconds behind the leader, which is now Damon Hill.
Now here's a look at our
Senna. There's Senna behind him also.
Ayrton Senna runs 10th, so he'll be closing up. It is Hill, Schumacher, let me check, Brundle, Blundell, Patrese, Prost, Alesi, Berger, Wendlinger, Senna, Johnny Herbert, Christian Fittipaldi, Sandro Zanardi, Rubens Barrichello, JJ Leto, Felipe Ayo, Aguri Suzuki, Terry Boutsen, Ukio Katayama, and Pierluigi Martini, your top 20.
I'm sure there'll be arguments about that stop-and-go penalty, because if he did hit Martin Brundle and we didn't see exactly the contact, how do you interpret the rules when you're forced to go through the chicane? He obviously didn't make a decision, I think I'll go through here, but the contact forced him to do that, so that will cause an argument as soon as this race is over.
A straightaway as straight as a drag strip, because that's what it is. Hockenheim is one of the world's first all-purpose motordromes. The concrete launch pad just to the right of the drivers as they enter the stadium. And they hold tremendous drag racing meets here. In fact, this racetrack is plastered with posters for an upcoming Nitro Funny Car and Top Fuel drag racing tournament.
Tires usually become a story. They're definitely a story here at Hockenheim. They use so little downforce, the cars slip and slide around. Martin Brundle now takes his stop and go. Remember, he was involved in that incident. But as regards tires, they slip or slide so much, they wear the tires out. Now they've brought A's and B's, the hard compound in the B. Brundle needs to keep this going. This is the critical time. Yes, he does. Lights up the rear tires and away he goes.
Those were the Renault engineers telling him, keep the revs up before you plow back out into battle. Now there is Michael Schumacher. Remember, he is in the T car, knocked Ayrton Senna out of the third qualifying position in this race on the very last lap of qualifying yesterday evening on a used set of tires.
And you can imagine what happened when he drove into the stadium right after he knocked Senna off. Everybody here seemed to have a flag or a hat or something to wave, and Schumacher was so moved by it, he actually slowed down and waved to everybody through the grandstands. It was just an electric atmosphere here.
That's Aguri Suzuki's footwork at the back of your picture. He stopped at the third chicane, so he joins the other cars out of the race, including Michael Andretti and Eric Comas.
So Damon Hill takes over, beginning to fall his way. Got a great start. Now the penalties to other people hands him back the lead. Interestingly enough, this is a very fast racetrack. Damon Hill actually said this place is a bit terrifying. It is so fast that you got to use so little downforce that the car is unstable. And believe it or not, the Ford engine cars of Schumacher and Senna were a lot closer to these Renaults than most people thought when they came here originally. That is because the Williams did not perform that well over these very bumpy braking zones into the chicanes.
You can tell just by looking at the rear wings how little downforce they use. Normally there'll be 2 or 3 planes on those wings and they'll stand up so you can read the sponsors' names clearly. Here, I mean, it's basically an open window.
Watching Prost closing in on Patrese here. Remember, they all fight for positions here, so Patrese or Mark Blundell will not give Prost an easy time. And remember, Prost is fighting for the championship, so you can't take an unnecessary risk and try and blast past somebody unless the door is left wide open.
There is the man, Riccardo Patrese. Now we're back on Alain Prost, hoping to close in once again and make up for that stop-and-go penalty. Plenty of action, and you can bet we've got drama to come in spades when we return to Germany. Stay with us.
Some folks say McDonald's new fried chicken is the best thing this side of home. But can it pass the mama test?
Crispy? Tender? Juicy?
Well, ladies,
in our opinion, nobody can beat Mama's fried chicken.
Mm-hmm, that's right.
Let's eat.
What you want is what you get.
It's not Mama's, but it's good.
McDonald's today.
Hello, my name is Smokey Bear. And this is my home. A place for you to climb, sleep, watch, and play. As long as it's not with matches. Only you can prevent forest fires.
Remain from the biggest rodeo show on earth. Now they ride high for big bucks at the prestigious Calgary Stampede Showdown. This afternoon at 3 Eastern on ESPN.
We are back live. There you see the intervals behind race leader Damon Hill, who took the lead at the start of the Grand Prix of Germany, gave it up to his teammate Alain Prost, then took it back when Prost was penalized a 10-second stop and go for jumping through one of the 3 chicanes on this 4.2-mile racetrack. It's a racetrack that Ayrton Senna knows well, having won here 3 times, he's trying to catch up to the Ferrari. We spoke with Ayrton Senna about the racetrack and asked for his thoughts.
I learned a lot here, and I've been through also some scary moments. I think I had the worst accident of my whole life here. Still, I got out of the car unhurt, and I really thought I was going to die in that accident. It's easy to laugh now, but I wasn't laughing then. But I like the circuit. It's a high-speed circuit, it's challenging. Sometimes it's even difficult to see the chicanes that you're approaching, such as the speed you come and some of the turbulences you get in front of your helmet. You can't really visually see the place, so it's challenging.
Ayrton Senna, the biggest crash of his Grand Prix racing career, came here in testing, and now he's closing in on Jean Alesi's Ferrari.
And you talk about a big crash. He somersaulted the McLaren, and he actually said he thought he was going to die. But this is a great battle here. That's the Ferrari V12. They have the 5-cylinder engines in this. Their new one is a new 5-valve instead of 5-cylinder. The new engine is a 4-valve per cylinder. This is the old version, which is 5 valves per cylinder. Senna doesn't have the legs on the Ferrari. That's why this dice is becoming really good. But look to the infield. It is a really good battle.
I beg your pardon. I said that was Alesi. It is Gerhard Berger. Recall that these two guys were teammates at McLaren last year. Jean Alesi has had a pit stop in the other Ferrari, and James Allen can report on that.
For Jean Alesi, he came in to change his tyres. We're in the pit stop window. Well, in fact, we're just coming into the pit stop window. But also his bodywork was loose. And so the Ferrari mechanics have put this tape on to try and hold it down. Obviously, the speed's in excess of 215 miles an hour. Get some air underneath the rear bodywork. Whole thing could fly off. Could be a real disaster. So that's what's holding on Jean Alesi's rear bodywork right now.
Hey, Racers Tape holds the world together if you're involved in motorsports. Through the shimmering heat on the drag strip straightaway down from the last chicane comes race leader Damon Hill as he comes around to complete lap 15. Big gap back to Michael Schumacher, who inherited 3rd place on the last lap of this race last year when Riccardo Patrese and the Williams went off trying to pass Ayrton Senna for 2nd.
That's one of the slowest corners, the Sachs curve right there, 65 miles an hour. They take it in 2nd gear, then go 3rd, 4th through the infield, back to 3rd gear, and then blast down past your hometown crowd here in the grandstands and out to turn 1, one of the most important corners on the racetrack. But he's losing touch with Damon Hill, but he's got a tremendous lead on 3rd place.
Now let's go to our Ford Electronics telemetry to give you an idea of what it's like to be on board this car, the incredible speeds, RPM levels, and so forth. Now, because this track is so long, we're not able to give you the telemetry all the way around the racetrack. We have to put, whoa!
That was a long, long locked break that could easily give Michael Schumacher a flat spot on that right front. James Allen just told us we're almost in the pit stop window, so Schumacher will be stopping very soon, we think.
Getting back to my point, when Schumacher comes around, we will be able to bring you the telemetry. We couldn't get the transmitter up onto the official Foca helicopter. They figured if we had one up there, by gosh, everybody was going to want one up there. So nobody will have one. Rather like a parent-child relationship among us all. Nevertheless, as soon as we have that telemetry for you, we'll bring it to you. There's Alain Prost. There is Mark Blundell. Prost runs in 3rd place, having gotten around Blundell. And we'll show that to you along with his pass of Riccardo Patrese as Alain Prost accelerates. Now here's a look at Prost's pass on Patrese coming down to a chicane.
Again, he's down the inside. This is actually coming into the stadium section here. It's a 3rd gear right-handed 90-degree right. Once you get to the inside line, you better not try and turn in because there will be an accident. Last year, Patrese flew off right here at the end of the race.
Alain Prost through that same corner as this race goes down astonishingly quickly. Damon Hill is already across the start-finish line to begin lap number 17 of 45. Now we've got pit action going on as Michael Schumacher prepared to pit. He is. James is there.
Well, Derek speculated that maybe that flat spot would have happened on the tyre when he locked his brake up. Indeed, it did. He obviously made a sudden decision to come in for tyres. It's a quick stop for him. Total panic just a few moments ago in the Benetton pit. They weren't expecting it. They got the tyres out of the wrappers and onto the car, and he's out again. A very slick manoeuvre by the Benetton team.
In fact, James, it was 5.8 seconds, and he does get out running right ahead of his teammate. Now, when you get a flat spot on the tire, you have to stop if it's bad, because it creates an incredible vibration through the steering that can actually break something else in the car.
He comes back on in 5th position, just ahead of his teammate Patrese, and just behind the 2 Ligers. The cars in 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, pretty closely grouped together. Back with Alain Prost. Now, I guess our broadcasters from RTL here in Germany are having the same problem we are with our telemetry, getting the signal up to the helicopter and dropped back to the ground again.
We have the advantage of having our scoring monitors in here with us. I'm just looking at to see how quickly the teammates at Williams are running. Damon Hill's last lap was a 44.3 and Alain Prost a 44.6. Now, Prost now has clear road, so the next lap when he's running by himself will be interesting, because remember, obviously Hill being out front is also by himself. But 3 Renault engines in the first 3 places.
There's Derek Warwick in the footwork, back from his accident, back from bounding off the racetrack in the early laps of this race. He will be put a lap down by race leader Damon Hill. For reference, the lap record here is 1 minute 41.591 seconds, held by Riccardo Patrese. The battle has calmed down. We expect more pit stops. We won't let you miss anything. We'll take a quick time out and return for more live coverage of the Grand Prix of Germany from Hockenheim.
Driving a Volvo usually inspires a certain sense of safety. Well, now we offer an additional sensation. The Volvo 850 GLT. The leading automotive journalist on the Volvo 850 GLT. It clings in the corners like a cat on Velcro.
For a limited time, your family can get on a Yamaha water vehicle for as little as $4 a day, thanks to our special financing offer. At just $4 a day, it's a pretty hot deal. Go for it at your Yamaha water vehicles dealer.
Remember those old dirt tracks, AJ? The dirt would just eat up the engines.
2 champions sharing a winning formula. Haviland Formula 3.
My favorite win was going to be in '69. I had to give it to you. You shouldn't have even made a half a lap.
Complete professionals who rely on the same complete protection you can buy right off the shelf. Haviland Formula 3 motor oil from Texaco.
Heck, I still feel if I can't win, I don't want nobody to win. I'll try to remember that, AJ. Do that.
The stadium section of the Hockenheimring, built by the same people who brought you Germany's high-speed Autobahn highways. In fact, this racetrack was something of a negotiated gift from the Autobahn builders to the city. They wanted a piece of land to send the Route 6 Autobahn through Hockenheim. The townsfolk didn't want to give it up, but they said, well, we got a lot of extra concrete. Suppose we build you an amphitheater or something like that. They said, well, okay, how about a little bit of a racetrack? They have, and since that time, about 45 years ago, this racetrack has grown into one of Germany's most famous. To the north, the legendary Nürburgring, and here in the south, Hockenheim.
And here's one of the great battles, Senna and Berger running 7th and 8th. That old Ford V8 runs out of breath just about here at the end of the straights and can't quite get alongside Berger. Oh, did he hit him? He almost hit Gerhard Berger.
And this is the same chicane where Ayrton Senna has had no luck at all today. This is where he spun off on the first lap. The first 2 chicanes are right, left, right, and the last one a left, right, left. Ayrton Senna having no luck getting around that 12-cylinder 4-valve Ferrari. Now, while Ayrton Senna continues the... Oh, he almost locks it up.
What the drivers don't like here, Bob, is being aggressive with such low downforce, because the car begins to slip and slide just like we see Ayrton Senna.
This battle goes on. Senna's teammate Michael Andretti is out of the race. Let's learn more about his situation from James Allen.
I'm down in the McLaren pit, actually, Bob. We're waiting for Michael to come back. We will, of course, talk to him then on camera. But for the moment, all I can tell you is that when he went off, his radio stopped working. So the team do not know what is wrong with his car, but it looked certainly as though something electronic had perhaps failed on the car.
Here's the infield section now where Senna hopes to get close enough to Berger. Look, he can close up, but it's virtually impossible to pass in here, even if you are faster than the car ahead of you.
Beginning of the season, Ferrari could barely get out of their own way. Now they've got a car that is able to battle toe-to-toe with the McLaren Ford. This is Riccardo Patrese in the Benetton pits. The team goes to work. Note there are 16 guys involved in a Formula One pit stop. Under the new rules that are being proposed, 10 mechanics and only 10 will be allowed to work during pit stops.
And they are talking about refueling also next year in F1. Talking about it at the moment. It's not sure or certain that they will in fact do it.
Riccardo Patrese came in 5th place with an 11-second lead over Gerhard Berger. Of course, Berger has Senna right behind him, and there you see they are now in front of Riccardo Patrese. He comes into the chicane right behind them. So that drops Patrese back to the 7th spot and promotes Gerhard Berger and Ayrton Senna to 5th and 6th.
And this is a real battle here. Berger was so shook up yesterday after a terrifying qualifying crash when he destroyed one of the Ferraris at the next chicane, the one he's coming down to now. Lost control on the way in. He was so shaken by the crash, he got out of the car, had to go and sit down on the ground, had marshals come over and tend to him, but he had to walk around for several minutes to try and get his senses back. The impact was so violent.
Damon Hill is across the start-finish line as this battle exits the final chicane. Hill beginning lap 21. We're almost at the halfway point in this race already. Notice the explosion of hot air behind the cars. Consider that each of these engines is expelling 3.5 liters of superheated air over 100 times per second. An extraordinary mechanical problem to have to deal with for these designers, particularly the aerodynamicists.
And of course, the talk over the last week has been the rules. How do we make the cars more even? Senna is in, but one of the reasons they're trying to make the cars more even is make engines as good as the Renault V10. Senna's in.
James is standing by.
Ayrton Senna comes in from 26th place at the end of lap 1. He's now in 9th. What a remarkable drive by Ayrton Senna. A slick, smooth pit stop by the McLaren team. I've got a feeling, Bob, that Senna may be up to something special today.
Well, he might. A 5.5 second pit stop. Let me correct you there, James. Ayrton Senna was in 7th when he came in, and he had a 6.9 second advantage over Johnny Herbert. I imagine he gave it up there, and Herbert is now just ahead of him. That would be Christian Fittipaldi then coming up from behind, and Riccardo Patrese off and on, and Johnny Herbert overhauls him.
And this is the braking area where Prost went off earlier with Senna. Patrese obviously gets it wrong under braking on cool tires. Remember, he just left the pit lane, and Johnny Herbert and he are in a drag race down to the chicane.
And Christian Fittipaldi just behind, so Ayrton Senna is behind them, just leading Martin Brundle.
Notice the line Patrese takes. He thinks he's going to be faster than these cars. Here it is again here. Look, it's under braking, the top of your screen. Oh, he loops it on the way in, gets it on the grass, and has no option but to drive over the chicane and get back onto the racetrack. Look at that gravel trap. If he got into the gravel trap, as Alain Prost almost did earlier this weekend, he would have been in deep trouble.
There is Alain Prost, presently running in 2nd place, but he is a full 20 seconds behind his teammate, Damon Hill. Could this be the day that Damon Hill fulfills his father's legacy? 2 drivers began this race having followed fathers who have won. Graham Hill won in 1962 when the race was held at the Nürburgring. Michael Andretti's father Mario won here at Hockenheim in 1978. Michael is out of the race, but Damon Hill has a chance to become a 2nd-generation winner, the first in Formula One history. We'll be back with more live coverage. Stay with us for more from Hockenheim.
New at McDonald's, the best fried chicken this side of home.
I don't know. Mom's is pretty hard to beat.
McDonald's fried chicken is prepared just the way you want it. Crispy golden, tender and moist, full of real fried chicken flavor.
So's Mom's.
Plus, you can get hot mashed potatoes and gravy and crisp coleslaw.
You ought to taste Mom's.
It's delicious home-style chicken, almost as good as Mom's.
Mom who?
What you want is what you get.
Just kidding, Mom.
McDonald's today.
October 1987, a small child is rescued from an abandoned well. No country comes to the aid of a child the way we do. Yet today, millions of children need our help. lost in an education system unable to prepare them for today's competitive world. Imagine if that same effort went into keeping the promise that every child gets the best education and has a future. Call 1-800-96-PROMISE for information on changing the schools in your community.
ESPN sets them up and knocks them down. Knockdown Thursday, ESPN. Ow! Thursday, past and present players of the year lead off at the Showboat Senior Invitational. Then champions Daniel Garcia and James Toney slug it out on Top Rank Boxing. Knockdown Thursday, ESPN. Hey!
Hockenheim and the town of Heidelberg nearby both rest in the Neckar Valley, part of the heart of industrial Germany, the auto industry, motorcycles, and lots of heavy-duty equipment. But there are also the lighter things manufactured in this part of the world. Anybody for a beer stein? And perhaps one of the items most closely associated with mountainous Central Europe? Well, let's speak for itself. Time to get back to racing. Here in Germany at the Hockenheimring, Michael Schumacher is presently running in third place behind that man, Alain Prost. Now here comes Martin Brundle, yes, in the blue Ligier, coming under fire from Schumacher, who is trying to lap him. Martin Brundle's race has fallen apart. He's a lap down in 19th.
Reason his race fell apart, he actually stalled in the pit lane during one of those pit stops. So Schumacher needs to get by him if he's to hang on to the back, or try and hang on to the back of Prost. Down the long straight, so that Renault that's in Brundle's car will be quicker than Schumacher.
Here is our Ford Electronics telemetry. Better late than never, I guess. Aboard with Michael Schumacher. Now, because Michael's in the T-car, we don't have an onboard camera, and rather than block up the screen with lots of graphics, we'll just show you numerically the RPMs up to about 13,000, the speed in miles an hour, 100-mile-an-hour first corner, and the gears he is in at any given time.
And this is a great run here down to the first corner. This is where we saw over 200 miles an hour on a regular basis during practice and qualifying.
And right there, you saw the telemetry freeze up because we're not able to get our signal all the way around the racetrack. There is Ukio Katayama going straight on in one of the Tyrrells and plowing through the gravel.
Well, 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 again we see him. He's been off the road many times. That looks like one of the Saubers. It is. J.J. Leto is well buried in the gravel trap. That is a crane job right there to hoist that thing out of that gravel trap.
The Sauber team introducing two new sponsors this weekend. And J.J. Leto, whose teammate Carl Wendlinger is the cover boy on the race program here in Germany. Although he is Austrian, I won't even try to explain it. Looks like Leto is out. Now, you watch Damon Hill a second. Here is a replay of Hill coming through the chicane. Oh, this is Leto and how he got into the gravel.
That's the same chicane that Prost went through earlier on. Look what happened. He locked up those front brakes, lost the steering, was not able to get in, and that bounced over that curb and up into that gravel trap. So J.J. Leto hides himself behind the guardrail.
Now, let me get back to the Williams in just a moment. Incidentally, J.J. Leto is driving with a broken wrist this weekend. Suffered in a testing accident at Manicourt.
There's a few drivers with broken bones. Zanardi, the number 2 driver for the Castrol Team Lotus, who's actually out of the race at the moment, was riding his bicycle near his home. He was knocked off by a car, which then proceeded to run over his ankle, and he was driving here with a broken foot.
All right, now back to the Williams quickly. There may be a problem in their tire strategy. Let's get down to James Allen.
I'm not sure it's a problem, actually, Bob. As you see, there are no tyres ready in the pit lane. We're well into the pit stop window, and intriguingly enough, although the sign is not there now, just a moment ago, they hung out a sign to both drivers saying tyres okay. I think they've gone down. I think they've looked at Schumacher's tyres, they've looked at Senna's tyres, they've talked to the Goodyear engineers, and I think they reckon they might be able to make it throughout the whole race without stopping.
Well, I guess the Williams tire strategy is my problem then. That would be something to go all the way, because keep in mind, this is not a nominated test track in Formula One. Nobody comes out here and gets tire data.
And the key to trying to judge these tires, if they go off, they'll go off badly in the first half of the race. We are over halfway through this race. The fuel load is now half of what it was earlier. So in fact, the tire wear now becomes less as this race goes on. Maybe they can pull a fast one over the rest of the teams and actually go through this race without a tire stop.
This is Gerhard Berger battling Mark Blundell in the blue Ligier. This is for 4th place behind Hill, Prost, and Schumacher. Behind them, Riccardo Patrese is in the 6th position, followed by Ayrton Senna from the back of the grid to 7th. Behind Senna, it's Johnny Herbert, Christian Fittipaldi, and Carl Wendlinger.
The great thing about racing here at Hockenheim is these long slipstreamers all the way down to these tight chicanes. They're incredibly fast. They go through this chicane above 135 miles an hour. Blundell got a great run there past Berger. Now he needs to suck himself up under his rear wing if he's going to make an attempt. He's right behind him.
Oh, look, oh boy, he'd almost... Gosh, watching those tires spinning so close together just makes your hair stand up.
And you can see what's going on. The sparks fly off the rubbing strips off the Ferrari as he goes over the curve. But you saw what happened there. Berger stayed to the middle of the road and said, I dare you, I dare you, I dare you. Blundell had a couple of little feints down the inside and decided, no, the time is not right, but I am getting close.
Onto the front straightaway they go again. Take heart, Ferrari fans. It looks like the Scuderia is getting back on its feet under the tutelage of John Barnard, who is constantly testing new items for these cars.
Look at this. He got a great run out of turn 1. Now Berger went wide out of turn 1. Oh, look at this. They're going to have a battle side by side. The Ferrari almost, it's still, they're side by side, and the Ferrari, I think, is going to hold him off.
Let's see, can Blundell hold the line in braking for the chicane? Yes, he will. Oh, Berger will try him on the outside.
It's not over yet. Did you see them side by side? The cars dart under braking. They both fight for position, and Blundell pulls it off over the Ferrari. It's not over yet.
They've got another chicane coming up. Berger will come along on the outside. He's been off this racetrack in battles before. Oh,
my word, did you see this? The two guys are absolutely punching each other down that back straight into that tightest of the chicanes.
And that was Riccardo Patrese flashing into the back of your picture. In his 250th Grand Prix start, he wants a piece of this fight.
Oh, this is a great fight. It's not over here yet. This is where Berger crashed, so get through here nice and easy. But Mark Blundell seems to be handling better. Look how much better he comes through that chicane.
Now he will jink to the outside. Right-hander coming up.
The braking zone, Berger's on the inside. He has the advantage. Blundell knows that, lets him go. This is the stadium section, but Blundell is faster. This is a great fight.
Gerhard Berger, perhaps the highest paid driver in Formula One, certainly until Ayrton Senna signed his recent contract. Gerhard Berger earning $12 million this year. Now, as this battle cools just a little bit, Michael Andretti has come back and James is with him.
Bob, we were speculating on what might have put Michael Andretti out of this German Grand Prix. We thought something may have broken the car. It seems it's more complicated than that. Michael, what's the reason for your retirement?
Well, I was trying to pass Gerhard, and we got together and broke my left front steering arm.
You had a great start, moving right up from 12th up to 9th. You obviously must have felt strong as you went out.
Well, I did, because the two Ferraris were holding me up, and I saw the Ligiers getting away, and I didn't want that to happen, so I was trying to get by Gerhard, and we just got together.
Michael, very bad luck. Thanks very much for talking to us.
So another trauma for Michael Andretti. Meanwhile, Ukio Katayama has made a pit stop in the new Tyrrell to pick up new tires, and Aguri Suzuki has parked his footwork with gearbox failure. The battle for fourth place continues between Gerhard Berger and Mark Blundell. Riccardo Patrese is closing in, however. This is the best battle on the racetrack, and we'll be back to bring it to you when we return live to Germany.
Oh, some son I have, ringing me in the wee hours from America. He saves money, I lose sleep.
Avoid international incidents. Introducing the most worldwide from Sprint. The only calling plan with just 2 12-hour calling periods, so it's convenient to call and save.
Ugh, you hung up.
Get the most worldwide. You'll rest easy. And so will your relatives.
Now get $50 free long distance with the most worldwide, only from Sprint.
Tire foam protectant from Armor All. One spray, and even old tires look great. Kinda makes you wish we made car foam. Tire foam from Armor All.
Only 4 brazen buckaroos remain from the biggest rodeo show on earth. Now they ride high for big bucks at the prestigious Calgary Stampede Showdown. This afternoon at 3 Eastern on ESPN.
Such is the pace of the battle for 4th place at the Grand Prix of Germany. You see Mark Blundell drawing away. He has gotten around the Ferrari of Gerhard Berger. Ayrton Senna then came around Riccardo Patrese to take away 6th position. And now he looks up the inside of his former McLaren teammate.
It's in the braking zone, and Senna has the advantage. Berger has to let him go here. We have had tremendous racing among this group as Senna clawed his way first past Patrese. Now he chases Blundell. Look at Patrese and Berger.
Now Patrese goes down the inside. Keep in mind, Berger in the Ferrari has not stopped for tires, and that may be what is haunting him now. Senna has fresh rubber.
Well, he's going to stop soon because this car is becoming slower and slower through these braking and cornering sections. He will have no option but to be forced into the pit lane because there's a long way to go on worn tires.
There's the launch pad for the drag strip at the top of your screen as Ayrton Senna swings it through a 2.5G corner on the power onto the front straight and launching up to about 175 miles an hour before dropping a couple of gears for the first corner. Now here's Ukio Katayama.
Guess what? Katayama's off the road again. He backs her onto the grass. Does he make it to the guardrail? No, he doesn't. Saves the Tyrrell from any further damage. This car is running the new G version, or G series Yamaha engine this weekend, which both drivers say is by far and away the best Yamaha V10 produced so far.
Yamaha went to English engine builder John Judd to get help. They took it from a V12 to a V10. Ferrari, it is rumored, will also have help developing their engines from, wait for it, Honda.
I was about to say it, Bob, but I wouldn't steal your thunder. Update on Damon Hill. What lap speed is he doing? 43.6 on the last lap. Alain Prost, 43.6. So Damon Hill is hanging on and keeping the gap about 20 seconds between himself and Prost. Is there team orders? Well, it's been incredibly difficult to get anybody from Williams to say yes or no to team orders. You see Prost in traffic here, but nobody will say there's team orders. Frank, all he'll say is, all I tell them is make sure you don't crash.
Whistling down to the chicane. You saw Prost got around. I believe that was Terry Boutsen in the Jordan. There is Senna once again into the stadium section. 3 straight victories from 1988 through 90 in this race. Let's take a look at Senna in action as he continues to pound through this field. He's now running in 5th place. This is the pass. Senna getting Riccardo Patrese for 6th spot.
And it's a drag race down to this first chicane. Again, you can see Patrese hugs the middle of the road. Senna gets alongside, and now there's no recourse. He has it done. He got a great slipstream. And, of course, then he goes right after Gerhard Berger. Look at Senna now move over across the bows of Patrese. Now he got a great run out of this back chicane at Berger, and he simply sucks up behind his rear wing again and flies down the inside. Now, we know Berger has bad tires, so he cannot challenge in the braking zone here.
Ayrton Senna was asked this weekend, what would you eliminate to save on the cost and technology race in Formula One? He says, I'd eliminate traction control and the suspension, the active suspension. I would keep the semi-automatic gearbox because it helps preserve engines. He also said something interesting. He said, I would cut Grand Prix weekends from 3 days to 2 and allow unlimited use of tires. Down in the pit lane, James Allen has a story for us.
Well, Bob, a 2-day weekend might not have helped Ayrton Senna too much this time. He spent most of qualifying using Ford's new Series 8 engine. Also, Michael Andretti did too, but both took decisions just before, this morning, in fact, before the warm-up to run on Series 7 engines today. We saw Senna draft past Patrese on the straight there. He also is using a Series 8 engine, Series 7 engine.
All right, thank you, James. A lot of oil and dirt on the nose of the McLaren Ford as Ayrton Senna swings into the stadium section. 4 extra grandstands laid on for this race because of the crush of ticket requests. Tickets running about 250 German francs. You see Katayama off in the Tyrrell. 250 francs runs about maybe just under $200 US at exchange rates.
We'll give Katayama the benefit of the doubt here. He didn't fly off the road. He just drove off and parked it.
Ken Tyrrell has been going around with a smile all weekend. Uncle Ken is going to get a run at the rest of the field under the new cost containment policy in Formula One. Ayrton Senna, you see, now drawing up on Mark Blundell. That will be a battle for 4th place, and it will be developing in just a moment. So let's step away quickly and return to the Hockenheimring for more live Grand Prix racing in a moment.
For a limited time, your family can get on a Yamaha water vehicle for as little as $4 a day, thanks to our special financing offer. At just $4 a day, it's a pretty hot deal. Go for it at your Yamaha Water Vehicles dealer.
If this is how you think of Volvos, we may have the car to change your thinking. The Volvo 850 GLT.
Taste that's pure delight. New Pringle sour cream and onion light. That's right. Rich sour cream and tangy onion. That taste is really something because the dip is in the chips, so delicious on your lips. Look, compare Pringles to regular chips. Pringles have less fat and they're less greasy too. The proof's in front of you. So grab a bunch of this, not that, and get a whole lot of taste and less of the fat. New Pringle sour cream and onion light. That's right. Once you pop, you, and you can't stop.
Fans from across the world have come to the Hockenheimring to watch Grand Prix racing. How many of them? More than 200,000, we are told. And believe it or not, some fans like to take it with them. For 2 weeks, people have been setting up in the camping areas that surround the Hockenheimring. And some of them more interested in the racing than others, I suppose. No measly 12-ouncers there, by the way. Those are the big boys. Back at the Hockenheimring, at the middle of your picture, you see all those cars parked on the right-hand side. That is the short circuit used for club racing, Formula Fords, things of that nature. But the full Grand Prix course runs 4.2 miles, second longest in all of Formula One. Michael Schumacher is in the pit area for a new set of tires. This is his second set. Another good quick stop. Actually, I think it was less than 5.4 seconds. And you saw the Ferrari mechanics dive right back into position. In front of his hometown crowd, Michael Schumacher came in 3rd place, but he was 4 seconds behind Alain Prost in 2nd. He had 46 seconds on Mark Blundell, so we can be assured he remains in 3rd spot.
And yet again, I'm constantly amazed that there is never any injuries in the pit lane with these cars flying in and out at such speed. I mean, it must be like the Autobahn here at Germany. When they're going so fast, you're constantly aware that there's something going on because there's no more crashes on the Autobahn without speed limits as there are in America with 55-mile-an-hour speed limits.
The aforementioned political announcement does not necessarily reflect the impressions of the management of ESPN. Thank you very much. 19 cars remain in the race, working lap number 32, spoken like a true race driver, partner.
Now Schumacher, we've seen him take a second set of tires on many times before, and Schumacher always gets stronger as the race goes on. There's 14 laps left, and Rory Byrne, one of the design staff at Benetton, said the incredible thing about Schumacher is he is absolutely flat out from the time the green light goes to the checkered flag. He's physically so strong, they believe he does have an advantage at the end of the races.
There's our Ford Electronics telemetry as the RPM continue to climb through the corner. Oh, up to max RPM, perfectly timed before he got on the brakes for the corner.
This is all acceleration, jump on the brakes again. Lose some speed, blast of acceleration, lose some speed. and then above, I believe, well, he was 180 miles an hour during qualifying, but the car's not as quick in race trim, so he gets up to 150, almost 160.
Hockenheim is so full of memories, most of them pleasant, but some of them not necessarily so. Let's get down to the pit lane and James out. I'm sorry. Of course, it was just a few years ago that Jimmy Clark, the great Jim Clark, was killed here at Hockenheim in a Formula 2 race. There you see the 25th anniversary decal in the Lotus pit. It is also on the race car because, of course, Jim Clark drove virtually his entire Formula 1 career for the late Colin Chapman. There is a memorial just beyond the first chicane here at the racetrack, framed by trees, memorializing Jim Clark and the point where he went off this Hockenheim racetrack years and years ago.
And if you watch very carefully, you can see Schumacher fights the car on the way in and on the way out. There's Damon Hill, 11 laps left. It says it's 17.2 seconds ahead of second place, and he's 59 seconds ahead of third place. So Hill gets that information every time he goes by his Williams pit.
My apologies to James Allen. I know he wanted to do the memorial to the late Jim Clark, but I kept it for myself. Into the stadium comes Michael Schumacher. Oh, here's a trick. This is German television with super slow-mo. Watch the suspension at work on Michael Schumacher's Benetton.
And this is what I just mentioned a second ago. He fights the car all the way. Look at this. He gets it sideways again, over the curbs and over the curbs. Anything to make the lap as short as possible in his chase for Prost.
Now let's take a look at our Suzuki mid-race recap. The race leader is Damon Hill, who is in heavy traffic right now. He has led since lap 10. We've had 2 lead changes. Hill took over the lead when Alain Prost was called into the pits for missing a chicane. The cars out of the race: Eric Comas, Andre De Cesaris, Michael Andretti, who tangled with another car and broke a steering arm, as you heard him tell us, Luca Badour, Aguri Suzuki, Sandro Zanardi racing with that broken foot, JJ Leto racing with a broken wrist, and Ukio Katayama.
Now here's something you may find interesting. Damon Hill is now down to 17 seconds of a lead, and Alain Prost has done a 42.2, which is faster than anything Damon Hill did. Look at the battle behind them, Wendlinger and Fittipaldi.
So Wendlinger takes 10th place from Christian Fittipaldi. Great racing all the way around the Hockenheimring, and it will continue. We are working lap number 35 of 45. Hard to believe, just 10 laps remain. Stay with us.
This is not a test. It's not even a quiz. But it is an emergency. GSXRs are attacking, wreaking havoc in Daytona, Laguna Seca, and other strategic points around the country. You are instructed to go to your Suzuki dealer and get a GSXR for no money down. Repeat, no money down. But hurry, the end is near.
Behind him and he started to spin. I know the feeling, nowhere to go, right?
2 champions sharing a winning formula. Haviland, Formula 3.
Very unpleasant on an oval, I think. Some people just can't get it right. Even at Indy? Oh, especially at Indy.
Complete professionals who rely on the same complete protection you can buy right off the shelf. Haviland Formula 3 motor oil from Texaco.
Perhaps I should follow you then. Not a bad idea, Nigel.
The new Toyo 800 Plus all-season touring radial is Toyo's finest tire, designed for superior driving comfort, a very quiet ride, and long tread life. The Toyo 800 Plus comes with an 80,000-mile warranty. Now, we've got to admit Michelin offers a similar warranty, and so does Bridgestone. 3 superb tires. So, what's the difference? See your nearby Toyo dealer, and he'll explain. Gladly. Toyo tires, driven to perform.
The German forests high above the Oberwald. Actually, the Oberwald are the hills beyond Heidelberg, where the valleys are full of gnomes and nymphs, they say. We haven't had a chance to find that out. We've been at the Hockenheimring most of the past 3 days. Bob Barshik, Derek Daly, and James Allen, glad to have you with us for live coverage of the 41st running of the Grand Prix of Germany. In the previous 40 editions, the man who wins this race has gone on to take the World Championship 20 times. So this is a bit of a kingmaker of a Grand Prix race. Here's Derek Warwick, who had that huge crash in this morning's wet warm-up, still out there pounding around in the actively suspended footwork Mugen Honda. There is Riccardo Patrese in his 250th Grand Prix race, closing up.
They had a party yesterday for Riccardo Patrese. Had a cake almost like his birthday to celebrate this 250 Grand Prix. He pulls out behind Warwick. He mentioned Warwick's actively suspended car. Derek is from the old school of Grand Prix drivers where they never had electronic devices like that, and he's still not sure of this active car. He still doesn't have the confidence level you need to totally commit yourself to corners with suspension like they have on this footwork car.
Riccardo Patrese goes around the running order. Hill, Prost, Schumacher, Blundell, Senna, and that battle is heating up again. Senna closing up behind Blundell. Then it's Riccardo Patrese, you just saw, Gerhard Berger, Johnny Herbert, and Jean Alesi. 9 cars remain on the lead lap. 1 lap down, Wendlinger, Fittipaldi, Brundle, Barrichello, Ayo, Boutsen, and Martini. 2 laps down, Michele Alboreto and Derek Warwick, whom we also just saw. Now let's take a look at some of the all-time starts leaders. Riccardo Patrese far and away the all-time leader. His first race, Monaco, in 1977, when his present-day teammate, Michael Schumacher, was all of 8 years old. Nelson Piquet left the sport with 204 starts. Alain Prost will be very close to 200 at the end of this season.
And things are beginning to heat up here at the front. Damon Hill still leads. The lead has come down to 15 seconds, 14 seconds, and now it's just over 13 seconds. Alain Prost, who is a master at conserving his tires, may be running faster at the critical time of this race. He's consistently faster than Damon Hill at the moment. But Senna, you can see here, continues to chase Blundell.
Pierluigi Martini in the Minardi Ford just behind him. Mark Blundell just ahead. You saw Damon Hill put Johnny Herbert a lap down in the Lotus, so we now have 7 cars remaining on the lead lap, 18 cars still in the running. It has turned into a beautiful day here at the Hockenheimring, and we've certainly had a great race to watch, and it is far from over. Stay with us for more live coverage of the Grand Prix of Germany. We'll be right back.
Some folks say McDonald's new fried chicken is the best thing this side of home. But can it pass the mama test?
Crispy? Tender? Juicy?
Well, ladies.
In our opinion, nobody can beat Mama's fried chicken. Mm-hmm, that's right. Let's eat. What you want is what you get. It's not Mama's, but it's good.
Cars go, this model year is coming to an end. That's why the 93 Nissan Altima is going so fast. Stop by your Nissan dealer today. We'll give you something to celebrate.
Major League excitement. 5 nights a week on ESPN.
The Ryan Express rolls on. Don't miss your chance to see Nolan Ryan in his final season as the Rangers meet the Blue Jays. Tonight, live on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball.
Back live at Germany, a huge crowd on hand for the Grand Prix of Germany, and I'll bet there'll be a huge crowd on hand tonight as ESPN brings you Sunday Night Baseball from Arlington Stadium in Arlington, Texas at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. The Toronto Blue Jays visit the Texas Rangers. This should be a shootout. Nolan Ryan scheduled to pitch against the best 1 through 5 hitters in baseball for the Jays at 8 p.m. tonight, live here on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. Back at the Hockenheimring, Bob Varsha, Derek Daly, and James Allen with you. Over 200,000 German fans started this race on their feet, waving their flags. They have been taken out of the action. There is the apple of their eye, Michael Schumacher. He runs in 3rd position behind the Williams-Renault duo. Damon Hill, 12 seconds back now, his teammate Alain Prost. and just behind him, another 19 seconds in arrears, Michael Schumacher. There's a good look at Michele Alboreto. We haven't seen him much this year.
We almost weren't going to see him this weekend either, because until this weekend, the rules were 25 cars start the race. They changed it this weekend. It's 26, allowing Alboreto in. Blundell goes through, and Senna still can't quite get close enough to him.
Ayrton Senna, who spun himself to the back of this grid with the help of Alain Prost when they tangled in the very first chicane on this racetrack. From the back of the field, Senna has moved back around. He is presently in the 5th spot behind Marc Blundell's Ligier.
And if you watch closely, you can see Senna's head being buffeted side to side. In fact, other drivers too, because when these cars get above 160 miles an hour, there is an incredible amount of buffeting. You see it there again with Senna. He buffets his head side to side. Very disconcerting sometimes if it gets too bad, because it actually affects your vision.
We had a long meeting with McLaren managing director Ron Dennis, and he told me something interesting about Ayrton Senna. He is very chatty on the radio. Here's a guy cutting the fastest laps more often than not in Formula One, and he spends a lot of his time talking while he's doing it. Terry Boutsen about to be lapped perhaps by Marc Blundell, who thought better of it, tucked back behind the Jordan.
Blundell doesn't seem to have lost too much there, but now it's V10 Hart versus V10 Renault. Blundell, look how quickly he slices out of the slipstream and down to the inside line.
Of course, Ayrton Senna will be coming up next. Terry Boutsen, perhaps one of Ayrton's best friends in Formula One. Now there's Patrick Head, the technical director for the Williams team. James Allen thinks there may be something going on. James?
Well, Bob, I've got an interesting feeling. I just saw Patrick Head as Damon Hill came through that last time. He leaned out across the pit wall and he pointed directly at the car. Did he mean stay out there, your tires are okay? Or did he mean, Damon, you're going to win your first Grand Prix, son?
I don't know, but he seems to be back in control, because the lead got down to 11 seconds. There's only 5 laps to go, so that's a lot of time for Prost to make up. But Damon Hill, for the first time, lapped in the 42-second range, the lap before the one he's on now.
You have to be holding your breath for Damon Hill as you watch the battle for 4th. Blundell to Senna continuing to heat up. He was so close to his first victory in the race that he would have wanted to win over all others. The Grand Prix in Great Britain at Silverstone 2 weeks ago, but the engine let go late in the race.
Look at this. There's the fastest man on the racetrack. What will fresh tires do for you on a light fuel load? Michael Schumacher is catching Prost, but he's 17 seconds behind as we speak now, which is way, way too much time to hope to make up.
Johnny Herbert with a quick look in the rearview mirrors of his Lotus. The Williams coming up quickly from behind, getting very close to lap record pace now. Schumacher knocked it down to 141.884, the record 141.591. Everyone getting a tow as the dog wags its tail down the straightaway.
Oh, I think Herbert, did he wave? I think he did. I think he waved to Damon Hill, said, to Alain Prost, said, go on down the inside. I don't need to be in your fight. So now Prost has a clear run of traffic trying to get to Hill. He's a long way behind. He's 12.5 seconds behind. There's less than 5 laps to go. There it is right there.
There you see the gaps. 12.3 seconds Hill to Prost, 29 to Schumacher, 1:11. Now those are gaps behind the race leader Hill. So do the subtraction and you can see how far apart those guys are. The best battle on the racetrack right now, Marc Blundell and Ayrton Senna. We'll take a quick time out. The gaps continuing to close up in the battles. The checkered flag not too far away. Just a few laps remain at the Grand Prix of Germany.
So, your international calling plan makes you choose a favorite country. But what happens if you add other countries or other people? Introducing the most worldwide from Sprint, the only calling plan that guarantees you savings on the 2 international numbers you call the most each month, even if they change. Once more from the top, boys.
Now get $50 free long distance with the most worldwide, only from Sprint.
Don't wait. Get the news weekly of motoring, Auto Week. Don't wait for driving impressions. Auto Week drives them all and tells you about them first. Don't wait for car news. Auto Week covers the world. Auto shows, the new, the old, and brings it to you fast. Don't wait for racing news. Get the News Weekly of Motoring. Auto Week brings you the winningest coverage first. Don't wait. Get Auto Week, the News Weekly of Motoring, now. Call 1-800-828-4100 for a full year. 52 issues at the special TV price of $19.95. Just 38 cents an issue. Save $80 off the cover price. You've thought about it. Stop waiting. Do it now. Call 1-800-828-4100 for the News Weekly of Motoring.
Remember those old dirt tracks, AJ? The dirt would just eat up the engines.
Two champions sharing a winning formula. Haviland Formula 3.
My favorite win was going to be in '69. I had to give it to you. You shouldn't have even made a half a lap.
Complete professionals who rely on the same complete protection you can buy right off the shelf. Haviland Formula 3 motor oil from Texaco.
Heck, I still feel if I can't win, I don't want nobody to win. I'll try to remember that, AJ. Do that.
A look at the Williams pit, where people look pretty cool, calm, and collected, and why not? Their men are running first and second, but the man up front right there is a surprise, Damon Hill, who may be on the verge of that long-sought first Formula One victory. Let's see what our friends from the RTL German network are showing us. There's Michael Schumacher running in third place, presently 14 seconds behind Alain Prost, who in turn is 13 seconds behind his teammate Hill. An hour and 14 minutes and a half into this race. Last year's race went down at 1:18.22. We will have just 2 laps to go next time around, so this could be a record race pace.
Michael Schumacher in the Benetton. The Benetton engineers consider this car as the best active suspended car in the racetrack, and they also believe they can build the best passive car. They're very deep in engineering, with Rory Byrne, very experienced, Frank Durney, ex-Williams, and of course Ross Brawn, who's been with TWR, which is the Jaguar racing organization, for such a long time. So very deep in engineering talent on this Benetton team. But here goes FW15, the most dominant car in racing for the last 2 years, doing its thing here in Germany through the forest.
This morning, these large trees overhanging the racetrack kept the water down, kept the mist in the air. The practice was ghostly, and it became terrifying when Derek Warwick collided with Luca Badur and flipped into a gravel trap. But looking at the skies now and the green grass and the clear air, you'd never have guessed it.
And he wasn't the only man to crash during the morning warm-up. Damon Hill, believe it or not, flew off the road into the gravel trap this morning in the warm-up. And on Friday morning, having set the fastest time in the first practice session after 5 laps, he again crashed with Alboreto, just like he did back in Magny-Cours, and flew off the road. So Damon Hill, oh, he's in trouble. The rear suspension is broken.
The left rear tire has gone down. The left rear tire with 1 lap to go. Is this possible?
No. Active suspension will not help you here. If the front wheel had gone, he could continue on. And Prost goes through into the lead. He's not going to win it, but he could still get points if he can make it around.
Whoa, and a close moment there as Carl Wendlinger came through, and he was that Johnny Herbert he was with?
It was Johnny Herbert and Wendlinger, and it was a battle for position.
Exactly.
Damon Hill, can you believe what's happening here?
Let's take another look at what happened. I can't believe it. Shades of Nigel Mansell in Adelaide about 5 years ago. Watch on your right-hand side. Something broke, perhaps.
It looks like the left rear tire blew. Now, remember, the Williams cars did not stop for tires. Schumacher stopped for 2 new sets of tires. Maybe that was a calculated gamble that just didn't come off. Unbelievable. And remember Mansell in Australia, leading and could have been world champion for Williams when their left rear tire exploded there also.
Look at the pit marshal in the back. You saw him waving his arms in frustration as if to say, how can this be? Getting back to Nigel Mansell's tire explosion, all kinds of blue smoke in the air right there and long streaks of rubber on the ground. You know who benefited when Nigel Mansell's tire let go on the Williams? Alain Prost came through to take the world championship.
Well, you'll take the wins whatever way you get them. But I'll tell you what, everybody here came to support Michael Schumacher. Everybody here will feel sorry for Damon Hill. However, he will make it to the pit lane.
Oh, in the pit lane, Damon Hill has spun, but it looks like the engine is still running.
It's stalled. He stalled the engine. He spun coming into the pit lane. How easy can you make it for your competitors? Prost is on his last lap. This is staggering that this has happened so late in the race. Damon Hill, we're all with you.
We were about to begin another era. We've talked about the rules a little bit, but you begin a new era when you have a second-generation Grand Prix winner. We nearly had one today. At the background, you saw Carl Wendlinger has gotten by Johnny Herbert to take 10th place, but the only one that matters is this one, Alain Prost. When opportunity knocks, fling the door open. He has done it so many times, and give him credit for it. This will be his 51st Grand Prix win. He just makes it look so easy.
To finish first, you must first finish. How many times have you seen that? Alain Prost, he will feel sorry for Damon Hill and the outcome of this incredible race. Look at the dejection. How many times can you have somebody beat you over the head before you finally ask yourself, why me?
And the flags wave, the Germans' flags, as Michael Schumacher cruises to the edge of the pit wall there and salutes his Benetton team. He picks up second place because Damon Hill went out for the second year in a row. Michael Schumacher takes another step up the podium because someone has problems with a lap to go. There's the Benetton team along the pit wall looking for Riccardo Patrese, who will also score points in his 250th Grand Prix race. There is Mark Blundell.
The race isn't over yet because Blundell did manage to hold off Ayrton Senna, and he will step onto the podium again for Ligier.
And he's a guy who needed one. After points in his first couple of races, Mark Blundell has yet to pick up another point this year. There's Christian Fittipaldi's Minardi, I guess, ran out of fuel. Perhaps Mark Blundell did as well. You don't want to get 2 miles away from the pits before you run out.
And look at this. This is great. All weekend we've seen Schumacher wave to his fans. He finished second. You would have thought he won the race. He has a German flag with him, and everybody is delighted.
Well, on the other hand, a German has never won the German Grand Prix. Michael Schumacher has got as close as you can get. We'll be back with more live.
You're looking at tinea pedis, commonly known as athlete's foot. But what's not commonly known is many types of fungus cause it. And to cure it all, you've got to kill it all. But today, there's a full prescription-strength medicine, the one most recommended by doctors, Lotrimin AF. The broad-spectrum power of Lotrimin AF doesn't just get some athlete's foot fungus, it kills it all. Lotrimin AF, the cure that gets it all.
A tire that doesn't cost too much, and we'll go 60,000 miles. Is that too much?
I need tires that work in bad weather as well as good.
Appreciate comfortable, quiet performance tires that'll last.
Performance, performance, performance. That about sums it up.
The car is capable of over 200 miles an hour. I certainly wouldn't expect less of the tires.
No matter what you drive, no matter what your budget, there's a perfect Pirelli tire.
After you shave, now there's comfort to the power of 3. It's new Soothing Edge Aftershave with 3 soothing formulas for 3 specific skin types. An aloe formula that's alcohol-free to soothe sensitive skin. Extra moisturizers to soothe if your skin is dry. And a cool vitamin E splash for normal skin. Soothing better than ever with the power of 3. New Edge Aftershave skincare for men. Ultimate comfort. That's the Edge.
This is not a test. It's not even a quiz. But it is an emergency. GSXRs are attacking, wreaking havoc in Daytona, Laguna Seca, and other strategic points around the country. You were instructed to go to your Suzuki dealer and get a GSXR for no money down. Repeat, no money down. But hurry, the end is near.
Back at Germany, here's a look at the unofficial results, soon to become official at the Grand Prix of Germany. Alain Prost, by 16.8 seconds, takes his 51st Grand Prix win over the crowd darling Michael Schumacher. Mark Blundell will take the 3rd position on the podium. 4th place, Ayrton Senna, followed by Riccardo Patrese, Gerhard Berger, in the 6th and points-paying positions. Then Jean Alesi in 7th, followed by Martin Brundle, Carl Wendlinger, and Johnny Herbert rounding out the top 10. Christian Fittipaldi, Philippe Ayot, Terry Boutsen, Pierluigi Martini, Damon Hill, who blew a tire while leading with a lap to go, Michele Alboreto, and Derek Warwick. Speaking of Damon Hill, let's learn more on the Williams situation. Hill's car sits forlornly in the pit lane. Here's James Allen.
Well, yes, indeed. What bitter luck for Damon Hill. With me, Richard West, the commercial director of Williams. A happy man, but also a sad man.
Yeah, I can't describe to you how we all feel, really. I mean, it's Damon's race, there's no question about it. It's great to have another victory, but I was listening to Damon on the radio, and feeling within the team is that, you know, what more do you really have to do? I mean, he's proved beyond any doubt that he really is capable of beating the best, and I mean, to be robbed like that so close to the end is just heart-wrenching, really. All you can ever say is the response to that, it's never over till it's over.
Richard, congratulations and commiserations. Thanks for talking to us.
Well, I suppose it needs to be asked whether or not the Williams team should have brought their guys in for a precautionary pit stop. But I guess they thought they could go all the way.
And in fairness, this is the podium that Damon Hill should have stood on, because he earned it today with sheer speed. It's hard to believe it was pulled away from him again in a heart-wrenching way.
The podium will soon be occupied. We'd like to show you what that's going to be like, because you can bet that these Germans are going to let their man Michael Schumacher know how much they appreciate his efforts this afternoon. Stay with us.
The Suzuki GSXRs. First, they win more road races than any production motorcycle in history. License plate on them. The new liquid-cooled GSXRs, now available in 600, 750, and 1100 octane.
This is your world, genuine and true, working together in all that you do, and you're giving it your best. Proud to be your bud, Budweiser. Proud to be your bud. Proud to be your bud. Ooh, yeah. Proud to be your bud.
When your dentist cleans your teeth, he uses special instruments that get between them. But what toothbrush would your dentist prefer to use? Well, in a recent nationwide test, dentists tried the leading flat brush and Crest Complete. The brush more dentists preferred was Crest Complete. Its one-of-a-kind rippled bristles get up to 37% farther between teeth than the leading flat brush. So, to help maintain a dentist clean at home, choose Crest Complete. It helps maintain a dentist clean.
My customers look to me, to True Value, for something they can't get in those big warehouse stores. They know I'll take time to answer their questions, and I've got the right products. Real True Values.
Like the July Hardware Value of the Month, a Doscasil 14-inch cord wheel. It gets rid of tangles on everything from extension cord to flat hose and holds up to 150 feet of 16-gauge wire. It's just $277 while quantities last.
You know, the name says it all. True Value.
Back at the crowded Hockenheim, the podium celebrations are now complete as far as playing national anthem for winner Alain Prost and winning constructors team from Williams. The total time of the race, 1:18:40, 18 seconds slower than Nigel Mansell's victory a year ago. And boy, Damon Hill must wonder as he watches his teammate raise the chalice, what might have been.
What might have been, and look at Mark Blundell. He can't believe his luck. He struggled for so long to stay ahead of Ayrton Senna. Little did he realize at that time that it was for a podium position.
At the middle of your screen, Alain Prost is our Suzuki motorcycle race winner. Michael Schumacher on the left accepts his award for second place. James Allen is standing by with his teammate.
Ricardo Patrese, your 250th Grand Prix start, and you finished 5th. How do you feel?
Well, I feel like I could finish better. Unfortunately, the second set of tires, something happened. Maybe the pressure didn't come right. I don't know. The car started really to purpose a lot in the straight and in the braking. And I nearly went off the first chicane, and I was lucky to come back, and I managed then really very carefully to take the car to the end. It's a nice 5th place, but I think I could finish better.
You had many happy years at Williams. Damon Hill today looks as though he's going to win for Williams. A thought for him?
Well, I'm sorry for him. This is what was happening to me in many occasions, unfortunately, even with Williams. And I'm sorry for Damon, and I'm sorry also for my old boys, because my mechanics, my race engineer, they are the same of Damon, and unfortunately many times in the past happened, and now again that we were in the lead, and unfortunately you lose the race at the last moment. So I feel quite sorry for them.
Thanks for talking to us, Ricardo. Well done.
Ricardo Patrese, whose career began in 1977 and will no doubt last for a long time. Bob Constanduros, English language announcer for Grand Prix racing, takes a dunking from Michael Schumacher.
And there's no better sight than Michael Schumacher on the victory podium. He is absolutely like a schoolboy.
Absolutely. We're going to take another timeout. This was the key moment in the race as the left rear right tire went down on the Williams of Damon Hill. Stay with us.
Tire foam protectant from Armor All. One spray, and even old tires look great. Kind of makes you wish we made car foam. Tire foam from Armor All.
No matter what you drive, we've got you covered from H to Z.
Oh, some son I have, ringing me in the wee hours from America. He saves money, I lose sleep.
Avoid international incidents. Introducing the most worldwide from Sprint. The only calling plan with just 2 12-hour calling periods, so it's convenient to call and save.
Oh, you hung up?
Get the most worldwide. You'll rest easy. And so will your relatives.
Now get $50 free long distance with the most worldwide, only from Sprint.
Thursday nights, ESPN sets them up and knocks them down. Knockdown Thursday, ESPN. Ow! Thursday, past and present players of the year lead off at the Showboat Senior Invitational. Then champions Daniel Garcia and James Toney slug it out on Top Rank Boxing. Knockdown Thursday, ESPN. Hey!
This ESPN Speed World presentation has been brought to you by Suzuki. Your Suzuki motorcycle and ATV dealer has the ride you've been waiting for and the financing to get it. By Budweiser, the king of beers, who reminds you, friends know when to say when. And by Crest, the dentist's choice for fighting cavities. Crest with Floristat. Welcome back live to Hockenheim as the crowd begins to file out. Here's a look at our final results. Alain Prost for Williams-Renault, his 51st career Grand Prix win. Michael Schumacher finishes 16 seconds back in second. Mark Blundell, 59 seconds behind the winner in third, followed by Ayrton Senna in fourth, Ricardo Patrese in fifth, and Gerhard Berger picks up the final point for Ferrari in sixth. John Alesi for Ferrari finishes seventh, followed by Martin Brundle, Carl Wendlinger, and Johnny Herbert rounding out the top 10. Christian Fittipaldi finished 11th, followed by Felipe Ayo, Terry Boutsen, Pierluigi Martini, Damon Hill, Michele Alboreto, and Derek Warwick, who has had a most eventful day. Here's a look at our points. Following the 10th round of the championship, Alain Prost extends his lead to 27 points over Ayrton Senna. Michael Schumacher solidifies his hold on third place. Damon Hill is in fourth, followed by Ricardo Patrese, Mark Blundell, Martin Brundle, and Johnny Herbert. In the Constructors' Championship, Williams with 105 points, almost double the total of Team McLaren. Benetton third, followed by Ligier, Lotus, and Ferrari. There is Michael Andretti's McLaren Ford being brought back in. He dropped out in the first half dozen laps of this race. A terrible disappointment for him. Your thoughts, Derek Daly?
Well, the history books will not show that Damon Hill almost won this race. It just shows that Alain Prost continued to make history. Michael Schumacher, well, his parents never come to watch him race live. They prefer to watch it on television. What a great day they had here. And a spare a thought from Mark Brundle. He was sick in bed all last week with tonsillitis, lost 7 pounds in weight, and wasn't sure whether he was going to be strong enough to finish this race.
But he finished third, and that ties his best performance of the year. It's been a great race, and you can see it in highlight form on Checkered Flag. The Grand Prix of Germany at Hockenheim coming your way Saturday, July 31st, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific. Our next stop will be the Grand Prix of Hungary from the Hungaroring at Exotic Budapest, Sunday, August 15th, 7:50 a.m. Eastern Time, 4:50 a.m. Pacific Time. Here's a look at the key moment of the race once again as the tire let go on Damon Hill's car. The ironies just go on forever. He could have followed his father, Graham Hill, a two-time world champion, as the all-time winner. I'm Bob Varsha for Derek Daly and James Allen. So long from Germany.
Why use Valvoline motor oil? It's the #1 choice of Indy 500 chief mechanics, Daytona 500 chief mechanics, NHRA mechanics, and Baja 1000 mechanics. For use in their race cars and in their own cars. Any more questions? People who know use Valvoline.
It's a silver time, it's a silver place, it's a silver setting, at a silver pace. Swaying bars, our very best friends, so silver fully smooth, they never end. In a silver time, good light, in a silver place, so right here now, silver melody.
On the next Cops, police are eager to intercept an interstate drug dealer.
He's picking up about 3 kilos of coke each week.
And they set up a sting to bust the bad guy. On Cops.
Monday at 7:30 on Channel 3. To Russia with Love, beginning Monday at 5.
This CBS special is brought to you in part by Valvoline.
Next, a CBS Sports Special.
The writer, the Southern writer, William Faulkner once put it, "Between grief and nothing, I will take grief." And it is that collective sense of mourning that unites the racing community here at Talladega Superspeedway. It was here that one of racing's best, Davey Allison, drove his first Winston Cup race. He won his first major race here. On July 12th, piloting his own helicopter, he crashed at this racetrack in the infield. Davey would die the next day. He was 32. He was a husband and a father of 2. He was the son of legendary driver Bobby, the brother of another racer, Clifford, who also lost his life on a racetrack just last year. Hello, everyone. I'm Ken Squire at Talladega, Alabama. And yes, there will be a race today. And yes, we will see the likes of Earnhardt, Elliott, and 40 others dueling for 500 miles. But first, this track, this racing family, will pause to remember Davey Allison, a racer from Alabama, a man who meant so much to so many. Ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention trackside now, where the next words you hear will be those of the Reverend Hal Marchman.
We are happy that you're here this memorable day when the racing fans of Davey Allison, his family of NASCAR, all of the people in the garage area and the pit crews, and his loved ones are here to pay tribute to Dave and recognize his accomplishments and his exceptional character. We remember and pray for his family. He said his family was his first priority, and he said that NASCAR was his family. We remember his mother Judy and his father Bobby, who are not with us today. We remember his sisters Carrie and Bonnie, who are with us today. We remember the Alabama gang that was so important to him. And we remember his mentor and his dear friend, Red Farmer. We're here today with those nearest and dearest to David's heart, and they are on the stand with me. David's wife, Liz, his daughter, Christy, and his son, Robbie. His two sisters are also here with us, Carrie and Bonnie. Liz wants to speak to you today. And Liz, we know this is a difficult time for you, but we sure are glad you're here. God bless you.
The last 2 weeks have been really difficult for Robbie, Krista, and myself, and the whole Allison family. There have been times that we felt that we couldn't go on. The love and the support that all of the fans have shown to all of us has been just overwhelming. There's no way that we can ever thank each and every one of you for that love. I know that now we can all hold on to the memories of Davey and to try to go on with our lives. Davey's looking down on us today with a big smile on his face. He would be so proud of the love that you have shown to him and to his family. These are all the things that will help Robbie and Krista know how very special their daddy was to so many people. And there's something that I'd like to share with all of you today that's brought some peace to me, and I hope that it will to you. Please don't sing sad songs for me. Forget your grief and fears, for I am in a perfect place, away from pain and tears. I'm far away from hunger and hurt and want and pride. I have a place in heaven with the Master at my side. My life on earth was very good, as earthly lives can go, but paradise is so much more than anyone can know. My heart is filled with happiness and sweet rejoicing too. To walk with God is perfect peace, a joy forever new. Thank you all very much. God bless you.
God bless you, Liz, and your family. And every history book on stock car racing will include Davey Allison, a top contender and a great sportsman. We loved you, Davey. You were our son, our brother, and our hero. And now I can almost hear Davey say, that's enough. Get on with the race. And you race fans, have fun. And will you join me in prayer? Almighty God, we thank you today for Davey's life, for his charisma, for the inspiration he was to all of us. He would not fail today to have us ask you to bless all of those who are involved in this race today on his home track. Hear us, Lord, as we all pray together. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen and shalom. Now let us hear the musical group, Alabama, express their feelings for Davey by singing The Fan.
before you ever made the headlines or toured the concert halls. We survived our share of bar rooms, stared at many motel walls. The years in Carolina and all the one-night stands, what kept the fires a-burning back then was you, the fans. We two stepped out to Texas, round and round the dance hall floors, played the fair in Minnesota. I wish we could have played one more. We hope you remember we're just the boys and the band, and what keeps the fires a-burning is always you, the fans. I wish this night could last forever. But the show must go on. We'll take home the memories, and we'll leave you with our songs. It's been good to see y'all. Can we come back again and again and again? What keeps the fires a-burning in us is you, the fans. As long as you remember the boys in the band, we'll keep the fires a-burning for all of our fans.
If you want to know why most NASCAR teams use a Sears Die-Hard battery, just ask a guy who didn't use a Die-Hard. Die-Hard, the official battery of NASCAR. For more power when you need it most.
Imagine this is a sidewall of a tire. The whole idea is to keep the tread area in level contact with the road, or you'll lose traction, especially in cornering. Now, Goodyear has learned a lot in NASCAR racing and applied that knowledge to Eagle's street radials. In cornering, there's a lot of force trying to lift the tire, but Goodyear Eagle's racing-inspired sidewall design works to hold the tire firmly to the road. Eagle radials, only from Goodyear. We like to say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
Are you ready for the tough Ranger? The cool Ranger? The Ranger that never sleeps. No matter which new 1993 Ford Ranger fits you, each one comes with a wider stance, available 4-liter muscle, and a new body. Which means the new Ranger is not only fun to drive, but also fun to park.
Ford trucks, the best, never rest.
Over the years, I've been pretty tough on cars, but hey, man, I wasn't paid to be Jim. Nowadays, I got a little bit different attitude. I own these babies.
You know, the better we take care of our equipment, the longer it lasts. And we always use STP products and have for the last 25 or 30 years. Maintenance, preventive maintenance is what it's all about. The problem is, some crazy kid always wants to drive them.
CBS Sports presents the Die Hard 500, sponsored by Die Hard, the official battery of NASCAR. Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by Goodyear, #1 in tires.
And so now the show must go on, and some racing questions are to be answered, especially for Bill Elliott. This superstar has not led a lap all season. Today he sits on the pole. Is the slump over? For Dale Earnhardt, the question is, will he maintain that big lead in the race for Driver of the Year? For Neil Bonnet, the question, how will he do in his return after being out of commission for 3 years? And for Robbie Gordon, how will he do driving in the shadow of Davey Allison? Questions, a lot to be asked today at Talladega. Answers are set to unfold in this hot, scorching, record-setting heat.
Joined by my colleague Ned Jarrett. Ned, this is always an event of high intensity, but I can't ever recall in all those races since 1969 a time where there has been such an emotional level and a record crowd here today. And of course the heat of factor, where they've had a record-breaking heat every day as we settle down for this 500-mile event.
Well, the heat certainly will be a factor today in this race, Ken, and yes, the emotions have been very high. They're always high when we come to the Talladega Superspeedway because of the intense competition and the high speeds they run here. But then everyone's mind has been on Davey Allison and their family this week, and certainly our prayers continue to go out to Liz, the children, Bobby, Judy, and the entire Allison family. But life goes on, and if life goes on, the race goes on, and no one would want us to race any more than Davey Allison. That's the way he would want everyone here doing their absolute best. So this race will go on today, and yes, there are a lot of things in this race that are going to make it very interesting. How about the emotions and the pressure on 24-year-old Robbie Gordon, who was named to drive the Robert Yates car number 28, which Davey Allison has driven so successfully over the years. Now, Robbie Gordon comes to us with some very impressive credentials. He has won in just about every form of competition he has raced in since he was a kid, but he has very little experience in stock cars. Can he handle the draft? Yesterday afternoon in practice, they were giving him some pretty good lessons out there. They were passing him high and passing him low and giving him something to think about overnight. He's a very talented young man. It'll be interesting to see how he does handle it. And then our colleague Neil Bonnet, choosing the hottest day we've had in years at a stock car race to come and make his comeback. And he wants to have some fun out here today. But one thing that he does not want to do, and that is to interfere with anyone else out there or harm anyone that might be running for points. And we just hope that his concern for his fellow drivers won't take away too much from his natural aggressive style. But I think Neil's going to do okay.
We're just about ready for the command to fire them up and get underway here. So let's go down now for the command. Gene Stallings, the head coach of the Crimson Tide from the University of Alabama, the national football champions, about to make the key call of the day.
And now to introduce to you this afternoon the Grand Marshal for today's race, the coach for the Alabama Crimson Tide, Mr. Gene Stallings.
Drivers, start your engines.
How's that sound with the motor running, Bobby?
Give me a little, I know CBS is listening or whatever.
Let's go down to Mike Joy right now and get more on the heat story here at Talladega as we prepare for the Die Hard 500. Mike?
Well, Ken, these cars are designed to cheat the wind, not get air to the driver. This motor pumps out intense heat. The windshield, the sun bakes in just like it does when you park your car at the mall all day. The side window on the right side is closed. That flat back window takes in a lot of sunlight and with it a lot of heat. Before Ernie Irvan fired his engine, it was 114 degrees inside this car. But the drivers have ways to cope with this heat. David Hobbs shows us how.
Mike, as you say, these cars are just one 3,500-pound heat sink, and a lot of that heat comes off the engine through the floor and the driver's feet to help combat it. We've got fiberglass and Kevlar matting, a bit of space-age material here. That cuts down that heat a lot. They take in air off the skin of the car in this NACA duct, comes down this insulated tube to the air pump. The pipe size drops, increases the velocity, and it goes through this heat exchanger. This ice box is full of ice, and of course the air, when it comes out the other side, is really nice and cool. And it goes round this pipe into the driver's helmet and puts super cold air around the driver's head. Some of them have a V in this pipe to help cool the back of the seat as well. This is another insulated pipe to extract hot air out of the car. And of course these drivers are going to lose somewhere in the region of 2 liters of water or fluid an hour. And this box here is going to fill them up with them, as apart from their fuel stops as well. So it's going to be a real hot day, and in spite of all this equipment, those drivers are going to get just awfully, awfully hot this afternoon.
And David, these black cars are about 10 degrees hotter than the other ones. Black absorbs heat. Kyle Petty says he may lose as much as 12 pounds today. He wears a size 34 waist in his pants.